In 1978, a notorious serial killer targeted his next potential victim live on a nationally televised show, The Dating Game. The new film, Woman of the Hour, marks Anna Kendrick's directorial debut and is based on this true and harrowing tale. Let's take a look.
And would you please say hello to Cheryl, Bachelor number 3.
Lights up on number 3.
We're gonna have a great time together, Cheryl.
He's confident.
Joining us now is Anna Kendrick and another star of the film, Nicolette Robinson. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So, Anna, initially you decided you're going to star in Woman of the Hour. What made you decide, you know what, I'm also going to put on that directorial hat as well?
Well, it was a scary decision, but you know, I was attached to the movie as an actor for about 2 years, and sometimes projects just take forever to come together, and then sometimes a project that's taking forever very suddenly has a ton of momentum, and like they get the money in place and they have a start date, and that was the situation we were in, and we did not have a director. And so we were looking at more experienced people, and I just had this really scary thought, which was, I think I want to do it, and I'm going to raise my hand, and I'm going to and sort of pitch myself. But I really had found myself over those 2 years like absolutely obsessed with the script. I thought it was so beautiful, and while it is like a fascinating true crime story, it's also a really emotional story. The script is kind of beautiful, and it deals with the grief and the magnitude of it in a way that I think is really emotionally resonant.
So this is your first time. Will it be your last as a director?
I would love to do more. Frankly, I think I hit the jackpot with the script and with the cast, and so I think it would take a lot because I think I really got so lucky on my first try, but I would love to do more in the future.
It was probably a lot of skill and not just luck. You play Laura, Nicolette, and that's a very layered character. How did you go about preparing for that emotional complexity?
Yeah, I don't know how you fully enter prepared for something like that. For me, I just tried to stay as present as possible and focus on the grief that Laura goes through. I mean, I think we talk about it a lot because Laura is very representative of a lot of people who were trying to be whistleblowers and trying to draw attention to this person. And so for me, it was just to stay as grounded as possible and really just like take the sensitivity of it very seriously. You know?
And Anna, how did you go about recreating this true story? Is it harder to do something when you're not trying to take so many liberties, you're actually trying to portray real events?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we tried to strike a balance of taking the details that we found the most moving and using those as seeds from which to tell this story, and really to be true to the kind of larger emotional truths. Like obviously something like Nicolette's character, you know, she's kind of a composite character of all these people who are trying to raise the alarm and were really let down by a system that was not set up to support victims. And you know, there is a story of eventually an investigation and, you know, convictions, and those things actually line up with a really kind of like Hollywood story, but it would really be ignoring the emotional truth of a decade and more of people, you know, falling through the cracks of the system and a series of injustices and all the ways in which these women had to try to move through the world and keep themselves safe emotionally, financially, physically. So, you know, there are dramatic choices that we made, but it was always in service of being true to the feeling that you have when you hear the entire story.
Question really for both of you. It seems like a lot of times in these kinds of movies, there's a serial killer narrative, and that's the focus. And sometimes the victims really are somewhere else in the background. But it felt like this was intentional to really focus on the victims and not just the serial killer here.
Absolutely. And I mean, who better than Anna Kendrick to have us leading us in that? I mean, she was so intentional that it was very important to follow these women and their experiences. And I think just as an actor, a part of this project, seeing this strong, beautiful, talented woman leading the fray. And she had such sensitivity throughout all of it. I mean, you did such a beautiful job, and you took it so seriously. It was not about letting anybody be divisive characters. You know, you did an amazing job.
Nicolette's too nice. It makes me embarrassed. It makes me giggle.
Well, I do want to pick up on something that you've said before with regard to this, that you wanted to highlight the incompetence and negligence surrounding these real-life events. Give us an example of what you mean by that.
So there was just, there were so many injustices, and I get kind of like hot under the collar even thinking about it. And, you know, I hoped to really center the impact that this person had on these people who did nothing to deserve it, rather than on him.
Kudos to both of you for doing just a masterful job of retelling this story in a way that, again, is not the typical version that we often see. So, Anna and Nicolette, we thank you both so much for joining us tonight. Want to let our viewers know Woman of the Hour will be on Netflix on October 18th.